Hi and welcome to the Gemhawks YouTube channel. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Today we are going to be working with seed beads. Now I know that is against my normal rule. I don't tend to get on with very tiny beads, but today we'll be making some fringed seed bead earrings. So let's head down to the board, take a look at the project, and then we can chat about what we're going to need to create them. For today's project we're going to be working with 11 0 seed beads, 6 0 seed beads, headpins, ear wires and some 1.25mm or 16 gauge wire. Now not all of my 6 0 beads will fit onto the heavier wire, but you do need a handful of them to be able to fit onto that wire, and I've pre-selected the ones with the larger centres and I'll be using the ones with the smaller centres on the headpins, which are a much smaller gauge. So I'm going to use my headpin, and on each headpin I'm going to put a 6 0 down at the bottom, followed by the number of 11 0 beads as shown on this chart. So we'll start with 3, then 5, then 8, then 10, then 13, and then we'll graduate back in the opposite direction. I'm going to now bring in my bent chain nose pliers, make sure that my seed beads sit all the way down against that ball of the headpin. I'm going to use my thumbnail to protect that top bead and turn that wire away. I'm then going to use my memory wire finishing pliers, you could use round nose pliers, to create a round form up at the top. And just make sure that that sits square at the very top of that headpin before I trim away the excess. So make sure that you've got a good hold on them and that you're cutting in the right place. Looking twice, cutting once is always the way to go. Once you've trimmed that little bit away, make sure it goes into the scrap pot. And what we're going to do is to strengthen that simple loop just by making sure it is completely flat. I'm going to ensure that I protect my seed bead and then give that a really hearty squish. We want this to be nice and strong, but we want all colour on this design, so no wrapped loops. So I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of my headpin bars in this same way, and I'll join you back in just a moment. Once you've prepared all of your headpins with those seed beads in the shown ordering, we're ready to move on to much more familiar territory. So we're going to be using a beautiful heavy wire today, 1.25mm gauge, 16 gauge. So let's head back down to the board and add all of those lovely pins into the correct order. I have some 1.25mm 16 gauge wire, and this is around about 8 or 9 inches in length. Let's just make sure that that's nice and warm, especially through that central section. And what we're going to do is to start by turning up around about 3 inches in from one end, and I'm just going to turn that over quite sharply. Now we can just make sure that that baseline is nice and straight before we start loading on each of these little pre-made pins. And what I'm going to do is to see which is the cut side and which is the rounded side of my little pin drops, and I'm going to put the rounded side at the front, and then I'm going to bring in my pre-selected 6 0 beads that I know will fit on this heavy wire. So not all 6 0 beads will fit, so you'll need to pre-select those from your collection which do. And then I'm going to intersperse each of those little seeded bead drops with one of those larger beads. Now I've gone for gold and red. You could go for any colour combination you prefer. Now if you choose to work with larger seed beads instead of these small 11 zeros, you can work on figuring out what sort of count of beads you'd like between each of those little drops. So let's just figure out which is the smooth side and which is the cut side, put the cut side at the back, and then continue all the way along until you have everything loaded up. So I'll join you back in just a moment. As you can see, I've added each of my beaded drops interspersed with those slightly larger 6-0 beads. Now when we make the next bend, we're going to need to be careful that we don't make too short the distance between those two end droppers. What can happen if you make it a little bit too close is that those will then stick out to the side at a jaunty angle, and we're trying to have a nice, even, relaxed fringe on this one. So I'm going to grip the wire across, leaving a good 2 millimeters between the last dropper and where I'm holding with those pliers, and then I'm going to try to make an equal bend to the first one. I tend to do this in a couple of manoeuvres so that I don't run the risk of making that too small. Now the next thing that you would need to do is to make sure that the triangle on your second matches the one on the first. So when you're making earrings, I would very much encourage you to do this little bit by little bit. So make all of your little stacks so that you know that they'll be exactly the same, because with the best will in the world, not all seed beads are created equally. So once you have got that looking exactly the same in terms of the size of the triangle, let's just lay that over. That's good enough for demonstration purposes today. What we're going to do is to consider whether or not we want to add any more beads down the side of the triangle. Now you don't have to, again, it looks really pretty without them, but it is just an option. So I'm going to slide down 3 of those 6 zeros onto either side. 1, 2 and 3 on this side, and then 1 and 2 and a third on the second side as well. So just open those up gently and they will slide down into position. You may prefer the slightly cleaner look of not having those seed beads on the side, but I kind of like how it looks, so I'm going with it. Now we're going to turn one of these wires into an upright so that it comes away at 12 o'clock, and the other one we're going to cross behind it so that it goes either to 3 o'clock or to 9 o'clock. So let's grip one of those wires and turn that firmly. You can take it slightly past the angle you need and then bring it back, which will give you a slightly sharper angle change. And then we're going to take the other wire and turn it either to 3 o'clock or to 9 o'clock. Now again, when you're making earrings, I would encourage doing this little bit by little bit so that you can measure the length of this sideways wire to ensure that you have a similar finish. I'm just going to make sure that I'm happy with the straightness of that angle, give it just a tiny bit of strength by gripping across it. And then what we're going to do is to hold firmly on the angle change of the wire that goes out to the side, either to 6 or 9 o'clock. Grip across and then push that wire away from you so that you've got this little bit of extra wire just between the top of the angle change and where the wire comes backwards. Now when I grip across these 2 wires, I need to be quite cautious about how I angle. If I angle my pliers straight across, it's going to distort the frame. So I'm just going to allow the pliers to sit, making sure I'm gripping both of those sideways wires, but not putting any pressure on this part where the 2 wires cross over each other. So I'm going to draw that all the way around at least once. And then I think I will bring that across again. Let's give that one more pull to get it into position. So you can tighten up that little spiral you've created, give it a little bit of a squish just to make sure that everything is as firm as it can be. Don't worry if it goes a little bit past, because we will simply hold onto that and then draw that wire back so that it sits out to the side at the same level as that central core wire. Now when you are making this design as earrings, it does pay to do this bit by bit, because then you can measure how long this piece of wire is and trim them equally so they're identical. If you do that, you'll end up with 2 identical spirals on your earrings. I'm kind of winging it a little bit. So I'm going to use those memory wire finishing pliers again, and I'm using the larger side this time, because I want to have a reasonably large central aperture to that spiral. So I'm just going to push the wire down into the middle and then keep moving that until it sits over the centre of the work. So keep going, keep going, keep going. And then what you can do, making sure those seed beads are sat down, is just push that down. Now again, you will want to ensure that those spiral centres are exactly the same. This one seems a little bit larger. I'm not going to worry about it for now though. Sorry about the catastrophic bark fest at the end of the last segment of the video. I just undid the spiral, trimmed a tiny bit away and made it ever so slightly smaller because it was bugging me, and because with wire, if you warm it before you use it, you have an opportunity to reform it, perhaps one time. Again, if it doesn't quite work out, you might need to remake it, but the whole idea is that you make them side by side and then you can end up with the correct amount of symmetry for you. So to finish off the main form of the earring, I've got 3 more of those 6-0 beads, and these are ones that have been pre-tested to fit on this heavier wire, and all we're going to do is a very simple and tidy wrap just up at the top. So if I grip across that form, turn the wire over sideways, I should have got enough room for 2 good solid wraps around that core wire. You don't need a massive gap up at the top to add in your chosen ear findings. Twist that around until you get a lovely loop, and then give that a little bit of a strengthen before you wrap. Make sure that it sits square at the top. I know it's a circle, but you know what I mean. Draw that wire all the way around, and again, if it's cold where you are at the moment, pre-warming that wire will definitely be to your benefit. Making sure you don't put any pressure on those beads, remembering that they are fragile enough to snap. So those beads might move around, but that's absolutely fine. We've got a matching loop up at the top. And again, this is something that you could repeat at the lower end of this segment. If you didn't want that spiral, all you would need to do is take that wrap to the back of the design. Once you've cut away at the rear of the design, you're going to ensure that this cut end of wire doesn't stick up in any way. So because you're working with shatterable glass beads, what we want to do is to protect that bead. I'm just going to cover that with my thumbnail and then rotate my pliers gently in the direction of the wire so that I can smooth that end down, just making sure that that's all nice and neat and tidy. Going to add a little bit of strength just to the top of that design. Now you could of course stop there if you wanted to. And you could, if you prefer, repeat that neat cut at the base instead of adding that spiral. However, if you want the extra additional dangly movement that I have got, I've got one last head pin loaded on with 1 6-0 and 5 11-0s. I'm going to create a bend just at the top of that little stack of beads, just protecting it again with my thumbnail. And then this time I'm going to use the larger side of my memory wire finishing pliers just to create a really large round form. So let's draw that wire all the way over. Before we trim away, I'm going to add a little bit of extra strength to that. Make sure that I'm happy with that form. When you come to cut away that excess, do be aware that even experienced jewellers sometimes cut the wrong part. So what we're looking to do is to trim away just the excess as close as possible to that angle change. Once you have cut that away, you do have an opportunity just to very softly make sure that the cut end fits against the angle change and then give that a little bit of a strengthening. Just going to open and close my pliers on that a handful of times. When you open this loop up, make sure you open it as if you're opening a jump ring, so you're only moving 50% of that rounded form, and then we can slide that down into position. So it's a little bit fiddly just to hold those mobile seed beads whilst you get that end through. And then what we're going to do is to just close up that loop. It's a simple loop. Make sure that it sits against the angle change, give it a final squish, and then all you will need to do from here is just add in your chosen ear wire. I've got some simple ear wires with little spirals and balls on. So I'll take a photograph of those pieces and leave it on the outro screen. I hope that you've enjoyed our project today, the fringe seed bead earrings. It's very unlike me to play with seed beads on purpose, but I've enjoyed it and I think they're very, very effective and really quite low cost. Have yourself a lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you have anything you'd like to see demonstrated in the future. Take care of yourself and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.